And 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back to the Shop Stool Podcast, everyone. And a warm welcome back to Bryan, who looks like he's back down south, I imagine, judging by that jacket.
I am. It's actually quite nice and warm today. We've got a warm winter's day in Melbourne. But yeah, I'm outside because there are tradies on the other side of my workshop again, digging up the car park. So there is Akadaka and Crowded House on kind of a constant rotation on a crappy Makita speaker. So I figured you guys would prefer the sort of ASMR-y noises of the wind blowing and my parrots chirping rather than that nonsense. So yes, I'm outside. But yeah, it's nice. I had a lovely break.
When did you get back?
Just on Sunday. On Monday. So yeah, we had 5 nights up in the Whitsundays. Hard to believe that sometimes you're in the same country as that. You know, every time we get to see you sitting in a t-shirt when Joey and I are freezing cold. But it was an awesome trip. I haven't been up that way since I was 18, 19. And it just coincided with a great run of weather and the whale migration. So there's just humpback whales all day long.
I saw that.
So cool.
That must have been amazing.
Yeah. Like when we pulled in
from the coast.
We saw them on the ferry. So we stayed at an island called Daydream just off Hamilton. The cheaper version of Hamilton Island, but really nice. Rebuilt after the cyclone went through it. The first humpback we saw was like out in the channel and close-ish. And then we pulled up to Daydream Island and there's one like 30 metres off the beach. Massive humpback whale as we were pulling in. So yeah, really? It was so cool. Feeling very refreshed and well rested. And
awesome,
ready to get back into it. And yeah, it feels as though, touch wood, winter is finally easing in Melbourne. So good here.
Did you leave much behind work wise?
Bits and pieces
that you've been having to catch up with.
Still waiting for those clover tables to get sign off. So that's a conversation this week that needs to get going. A bed that's probably just over half finished. I'll try to get that out next week. And then a little side table as well. Bits and pieces. But it was good actually being on holiday and being able to properly relax and not thinking about work at all. Yeah.
When you say sign off the tables, who are you waiting for on that?
Well, I mean, he probably doesn't listen to the show, so I can probably tell. So the architect that designed the tables, one is for him, and he has a client who wants one. So he's obviously waiting on the client to sign up to then get a small discount and get the clients, because he takes a cut in the tables as well, because it's his design. So his margin for the table that gets bought by the client will get recycled into his table. So yeah.
Okay, and that's why I'm asking, because I don't understand the space at all. Yeah, who says that you are allowed to build that table?
Well, the architect, yeah. So I produce it. We kind of both handle sales, but yeah, he gets his commission out of it. Yeah. So if he sells one, he's able to get his discount on his one. But I think, he wants the table by October, so he better get on it. Better get on his bike. And I'm sure I've said it before, but doing those leg laminations with the hydrowood timber, I really want to get them done before it gets too hot in the workshop again, and dealing with that problem of coming in and nothing's perfectly square, and then you end up with a whole load of assembly problems further down the track. So yeah, it would be really good to start getting onto that. But yeah, the whole forecourt in my workshop is being dug up and rebuilt by the landlord, which is cool. So yeah, I have access by foot to my workshop, but if I want to bring in materials, I have to carry them in.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So
that back entrance is all blocked up.
Yeah. So the entrance to the car park is blocked, so I have to kind of come around the back way to get into my shed. How long is a very good question, Joey. Somewhere around 2 months.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's not cool.
That's not cool.
Fun times.
Yeah.
And Joey, I saw you built a, what was that? Is that a table with that little light strip?
Bedside table. Yeah.
That is cool. That was so cool.
It's funny. We're always anti-technology and furniture, and we see it. And we're like, oh yeah, oh yeah.
No, I think when you set it to RGB and it starts flashing different colors, that's when people turn off. That's where it goes too far.
Or bring out a big honking ugly remote that you're having to use.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's why that's been my go-to switch for LEDs for probably 5 years. Like that particular switch, there's no point me telling you the name because it's specific to the shop I get it from. But it's such an awesome thing. It will go through 30 mil of pretty much any solid surface. And I usually drill a hole into the back of stuff just to make it easier. And it's just bloody awesome to have when I show clients, because I tell clients they're getting it and then they don't understand, of course. And then when they see it, they're like, oh my God, this is like the best thing in the house. It's pretty trick.
Any idea how the switch works?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that.
I can't remember if it's infrared. I think it's infrared. So it senses the heat of your hand, essentially.
Not the movement. Okay.
No, I think it's a heat. So you don't actually even have to touch the table because it has like a 30 mil depth of laser beamness. You can just kind of wave your hand close to the top of the table and it will go on.
For anybody who hasn't seen it, you should go and check out. It's on your Instagram, right? It's not on a story. Yeah. And it's got a dimmer into it.
No, it's not a story. No,
it's got a dimmer built into it as well.
Yeah, it's what's awesome about it. You just hold your hand on the location and you get, which is really great for a bedside table, depending on what you're trying to do. And it remembers your last setting. So if you want it at a specific dimness, and you keep, it just goes on and off at that level until you change it.
Can I ask the cost? Yeah.
We're on the same page.
The switch is 110.
Yeah.
The driver is 60, and the LED strip on that one was 100.
Pretty good.
The driver's not specific to the Switch, though, right?
No, but they all are the same brand, and so they've already got male and female plugs and everything. You just plug it and plug and play. So they have like 2 meter cables attached to them already. So you just need to hide the cables somewhere, and then you're good to go.
Very cool.
So definitely high end, because it's not a cheap solution.
No, but it's just I can't be bothered dealing with other shit that I know this stuff works and it lasts, and so that's just what you get.
And as you say, the presentation is a wow factor, which is for a turn business is what you want.
And I found a couple of awesome undermount chargers to go along with that. So that's pretty cool. They've got a little cooling fan built into them, so you don't have to worry too much about heat buildup, which I was slightly concerned about.
Setting your table on fire. Well, that brings me to my other point about that table and the dot. The video doesn't really convey what that dot is, so it's not like a little texture mark or something, is it? Because I couldn't see what...
It's just because I needed a way to show center of the charger, of the wireless charger, and I didn't want to put some awful switch mark there because what's the point? So I just drilled a hole right through at center and put some black super glue in the hole, and that's it.
Yeah, okay.
Just like a nice little flush black dot that shows you where to put your phone.
Yeah. There was an interesting way of doing it, not one that I was that I'd thought of, but I guess it's small enough that it's not an eyesore.
Yeah, well, because the actual charger comes with this big sticker, like a 50 mil sticker that's got like a charging logo on it, and I'm just like, what is the point of this?
Yeah,
I mean, it's just ugly. So
it's horrendous. Yeah.
I mean, you could probably just throw your phone on it and find it, but there is a bit of a delay between the phone registering it and by the time you keep moving it around, it would just be annoying. So
it's funny. We talked about this a month ago, this whole wireless charger thing. And since then, I got out my wireless charger, which is one of these, it's a fairly big disc. What's this, maybe 70 mil across. And every time I use it, it actually makes me a bit annoyed because I put it down and I'm, oh no, I haven't got it. And then I think I've got it, and then it registers a bit late, and then I move, and then you've got to find that exact spot because otherwise, it just turns into a pain in the ass.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
And the kitchen install went pretty well.
Yeah, I was just going to run through some jobs because it feels like it's been ages since I talked to you guys. The last thing I was talking about was this big bookcase. I've got a couple of cool photos of that on Instagram. It has a ladder, rolling ladder, which is pretty awesome. That build. The clients just got back to me yesterday and want me to extend it. So it's a little bit annoying, but I have to kind of rebuild one end of it and return it around a corner. So they've got a bookcase on 2 walls. So that will be interesting.
Yep.
And that kitchen that kitchen went together mint. I was happy as with that. I'm just waiting on the bench tops to go in, and then I can finish off and put the rain shield up, and then I'm out of there. Actually, the client's got a bunch more work for me on that job. But the kitchen is very close to being wrapped
cool.
up.
Good
So
stuff.
that's pretty cool.
Did you do the install all by yourself, or did you have a bit of help?
I had my old man helped me for maybe 2 days.
Yeah.
Just on lifting a couple of the wall cabinets.
Yep.
But otherwise, did it all myself. Spent most of the time just unwrapping. It's crazy how much wrapping you put on these panels to protect them. It's just a mountain of packaging, which is kind of disgusting, but
So you
kind of have to do it.
So you wrap them.
Yep.
So
What I did was, I'll run you through, because it was a sprayed finish. To have a really good finish, what you do is you start spraying the back, and when the back's dry, you mask it off, turn it over, and spray the front. And so I just left the masking on the back, and then I could kind of stack things up and then wrap it in some blankets and stuff. And so I did the final removing of that masking on site before I hung all the doors and drawer fronts and stuff. And it just took forever doing it. There was over 70 panels that I had to unmask. And
so you're not wrapping. Well, that was going to be my question, is about the blanket. So you're not plastic wrapping it or wrapping it in card or anything.
well, kind of half of it is like a plastic or card masking to protect it from the spray on the backside. So there is probably 6 rolls of masking tape. So there's quite a bit of just shit, rubbish that you can't do much about. But you got to move it around and you got to protect it somehow.
Yeah. Just before we get on to you, Robin, I've got a listener question for you, Joey. So we had a message from... I get so many direct messages on the Instagram account, and they'll go and get lost to the ether somewhere. So if people have questions, can they just put them under the Instagram post rather than message me directly? If it's a quick question, I don't mind answering it directly, but if it's a question for the show, that's the place that it will be least likely to get lost. So it was from John Graham, who is building a shed, and he is asking how you did line yours. Did you go with plywood, melamine, form ply, yellow tongue, plaster and bits? What did you do? What was your build up? Insulation, and then
my plan was to plywood, get what they call garage ply over here, which is just like a cheap poplar plywood with a Meranti or Gaboon veneer, like a really thin Chinese ply. They're like $50 or $60 a sheet.
at like 12 mil or 16 mil or something?
It's like 9 mil.
9 mil.
It's like a
Okay.
9 mil. But the problem is with steel sheds, the spacing of any fixings is way too far. The span is annoying. And so you do have to weigh up how you're going to fix it, and do you care about kind of saggy joints or whatever. As it turned out for me, I ran out of budget. So I only have like decent linings in my office and a couple of areas in the main work part of the workshop, and the main machine part of it is just open steel tin shed. And I put whatever budget I did have into insulating the ceiling. It was a much bigger concern for me.
Yep.
So there's no easy way unless you want to lose space and put some timber framing.
Yeah, I was
and
going
then
to say
you
some
can put
girts.
some thinner. Yeah, you've got to put some girts or something in either inside the wall cavity, but then you've got to deal with the existing steel, the horizontal steel struts,
and the bracings
pain
and
in the
things.
ass.
Yeah.
It's actually not easy to do. So I just went with, forget about it.
But so your recommendation is go with the ceiling.
I think if you've got a limited budget, you've got to do something with the ceiling, insulate it. It's just so oven-like. Unless you've got some way, even if you have some way of controlling with a heat pump or something like that, I think you still have to insulate yourself from that gigantic roof space, which is just an oven.
Did you did you get a spray-on insulation, or you just did pink bats or something? Or?
No, I got custom cut polystyrene, high density polystyrene panels.
Yeah.
And there I got, because each row of my purlins are slightly different width, and so I got all these different widths cut to size for me. So I didn't have to trim one of them. I just measured them each one and had like a bunch of measurements I emailed through to the guys, and they just showed up at the right size.
Cool.
And I just plugged them in, and that's made a huge difference.
That's a cool idea. Yeah.
All right. Hopefully that answered your question, John.
Probably not.
Probably not. But how do you line the walls of a shed? Well, I don't.
No.
By closing my eyes and thinking about other things. Yeah.
That's the one.
You actually, Bryan, you've just reminded me. I've had a few response or emails, direct emails about the teaching stuff, Joey.
Yes.
We should put some more time into this, into getting questions. So maybe not next episode, the episode after, I'll collate all of those and get those together, and we can run through them. That's a good idea.
And even just touching on that teaching thing, it's interesting. I've learned more myself, not about woodwork, but just teaching something like woodwork to complete novices is an experience. And
is it a continuing experience, or has your initial experience?
Yeah, I've got a class right after this podcast. I've got a guy. We're doing like a bedside table, so we're about 4 classes in at the moment.
Yeah, cool.
And it's just I've got to be way more prepared than I thought I did, especially with younger people, even in their teens. They don't give a shit about preparing the wood. That's the last thing they want to do is sit there and run a piece of wood through the thicknesser and joint it. They just want to get on to the part where you do something. And so I've got to be a step ahead just to keep their interest in it, which is interesting. I would have thought if you want to come and do that kind of thing, you might want to see the whole process, but evidently that is not the case.
Interesting. Yeah.
So it's interesting finding what areas are exciting and not to different age groups.
And have you had a lot of interest in it from the community?
Yeah, quite a bit. And I've done quite a few classes. I've developed a very easy mallet, like a 1-hour build to build a mallet. And using my little CNC, we can engrave someone's name on the side of it or whatever. And like a 2-tone, like a walnut cheeks and an oak handle kind of thing. Glue it up with a mixture of super glue and PVA, and away you go. You've got yourself a mallet.
Yeah, cool.
So I've done a few of those. Yeah, interesting.
Nice one.
And what about you, Robin? How's the old Celery Top Shop going?
Yeah, my big news, because the last time we talked, which was a month ago, Bryan, you were saying to me, when's the launch going to happen? Or when's the shop going public? So 2 weeks ago, I officially announced it on Instagram with 2 products. So there's this cookbook stand and this box. And the publish went fine. A lot of people have looked at the store. I've made a grand total of 0 sales.
Oh, really?
Now, nothing right now. And I want to be diplomatic when I talk about this because I don't want to come across like a dick. But I was expecting to just have like 1 or 2 people go, "Oh, that's interesting. Let me chuck some in just to support Robin." And I appreciate that they are relatively expensive items. So that's a lesson learned for me. I can't expect people to fork out for something like that. But I don't know. I just had in my mind that there would be a handful of people who would buy some, but nothing, 0. So very good, humbling experience, right? Just because you build it doesn't mean they come. So I've taken a step back, and in the last week I've worked on 2 new products. The cost is a lot lower. It's like a utensil holder and some coasters. Real, they're going to be cheap things. So now it's a case of there's a wide range of values that the people can look at. So at least now it's going to be able to test the water of, am I just getting it to people? Am I getting the word out sufficiently enough that people are hearing about it?
Are you doing any paid advertising of it on Facebook?
So this is going to be the next thing. So it's been the marketing, quote unquote, that I've done has been very low key. I don't expect a lot of people to have known about it. I haven't pushed it hard. I don't like selling myself. We've talked about this on the show before. It's a hard thing to do, but I got to pull my socks up and actually get out there and start promoting this and selling this and giving people a reason to go check it out. I hadn't really thought about doing online marketing yet. A lot of it's because, as you've said in the past, Bryan, you've never really got a good kickback from that, have you?
Not really, no. No, I don't know. I think if I was doing chopping boards or something more, I would probably use it, because I think once you get beyond a certain price point and you're using social media, the clients aren't really there, despite the fact that, Instagram, Facebook say they target the ads at certain demographics and things. I don't think that they're there. Whereas I think for items under maybe $250, somewhere in there, $200, I reckon I probably would use a bit more social media marketing.
Yeah, okay.
That would be my feeling on it. Like, I've done it for, the offcut boards that I do. I kind of usually do a run of those around Christmas, just with all the scraps that are left over from different projects. I have done Facebook ads for those before, and I have sold them off that.
Right, I might try that.
Every time you do one of those adverts, you got to remember it's coming out of your profit.
Yeah, exactly. And wow, so since getting back, I've really tried to focus more on the business, really hone in on it. And I am not profitable. I am so far from being profitable with this business.
Welcome to woodworking.
I was just going to say, you're a furniture maker there.
It is.
Congratulations.
It is depressing. Because, I've always just substituted my income with my day job. But here I am talking about wanting to do this full time. I am going to drive my family into the ground if I try and do this full time. It's awful.
I was under the impression, I may have been led wrong when you talked about it. Are you selling these things as a product made by Robin Lewis, or as just X-company Celery Top kitchen things, like separate from you completely? So let's say in 6 weeks, if it all just goes bust, and you just turn it off and it's got nothing to do with you personally.
No, so it is intrinsically linked. The website is its own. So you can now go into celerytopshop.com.au. Right. That's the website. But in terms from a business perspective...
What was that website again, Robin? Just in case anybody missed it?
I was going to do a little plug at the end, but we may as well do it now. So celerytopshop.com.au. Shall I repeat that for you?
Yeah, what was that?
But in terms of from a business perspective, I'm still trading as my ABN. All those details are still mine. So that's why I'm going to use all of my socials and that to promote it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's something I found. I remember thinking when I started getting a bigger audience on YouTube, this is great. I can just like put out some product like merch. I think when I first did it, my first run of t-shirts or whatever, I was like, oh, this is great. If everyone, like I was even tried to be reasonable and thinking, now, if I've got 200,000 subscribers and a quarter of them buy something for $2, like, I'm good. That's sweet. But actually, like, 5 of them bought something, and I was like, okay. So I learned real quick that you can't rely, just because people follow you does not make them a customer.
Yeah.
It just means they're slightly interested in whatever you're doing for some reason at one point in time. And so I think, doing some completely other unrelated to social media, targeting some kind of local paper design, something, kitchen appliance magazine, something or other.
That's a good idea.
And a little ad in something where people who might be interested in buying kitchen utensils might actually see it, rather than scrolling on some random woodworkers post to find something that, why would they link you and kitchen appliances? So I think you have to be really targeted on where you're showing your stuff.
For me, I reckon a Sunday market is the way to sell those kind of products, because they get to meet you. Yeah. You've made it. You can give them the spiel. Like, your cost of a stall for the day would probably be the equivalent spend of what you'd spend on Facebook.
On an ad, yeah.
But then you're not dealing with... Yeah, I reckon a stand. Like what,
I mean, I haven't done $50 or something?
I haven't done one in a while, but usually about $100 to $200. Yeah, depending on the quality of the market and where it is.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Regional, you might be a little bit cheaper. They might be sort of council subsidized or something. But if you think about it, like, if you bring all your inventory there, it's your exact demographic of people that are coming to those markets and are willing to buy like a bottle of handmade, hand-pressed olive oil for $20 from that's your target market, and you're not relying on a Facebook advert to find them.
My original goal was to not rely on that, so I wanted this to be more passive. So if I sell one a week, if I sell one a month, that's okay. You know, that it's there, it's boxed, it's ready to go out.
But you see, passive to me means it's fully electronic. So like plan sales are massively passive because they're there and they're just evergreen. They just keep going. Whereas to me, anything that involves product involves me having to package it, take it to a post office, get panicked about something getting lost or damaged in the post. I don't think that that's passive.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah. There's a lot involved in
it. I would tend to think about this. I would take a kind of step to the side and say, do everything you're doing to show that you're a business and you've got products. But then, because the hardest thing is making something like a cookbook stand. How many cookbook stands do you need? We need one. So you that customer is going to buy one thing from you once, and you have to put a lot of work in to get that one sale, even if it's not, even if it's just packaging the thing and putting it in the mail, taking it to the post office. That's a lot of work for that one sale. I would look at it and say, okay, if I'm going to make these coasters and I can batch them out pretty bloody quick, I might go to some handmade a clay thrower, someone who's firing mugs or something, and say to them, how many mugs are you selling a month? How about I sell you 200 coasters and you make a package deal with a pack of mugs and coasters, and then they sell them. They've already got people coming to their shop to buy. The right kind of clients already buying that kind of thing. Yeah. The same with like utensils. I think you had a utensil holder or something. Go to some Australian like knife maker or, I don't know, tongs maker or something, or a barbecue place or something, and say, hey, do you want a bunch of these? And you could package your products in my product and you just sell them as a going concern, and you sell as a wholesaler rather than direct to the public. Could be a
and
way to go.
And they're dealing with all the
well.
distribution and all the after sales sort of
Yeah.
stuff. Are there any tea plantations near you?
I don't know.
I'm serious.
I'm so glad that I
probably
brought this up, because these are all amazing ideas that you guys are coming up with.
Yeah, I reckon a tea plantation that you could actually sell handmade
100%.
wooden boxes from Australian timber, because I would say that they're probably not going out in Australian-made boxes, would be my guess. Yeah.
That especially, to me, that's massive. Because if you found someone who's distributing or selling Australian tea, and you say to them, "Hey, I make tea boxes," and they say, "Well, we want to actually sell our tea leaves in a wooden box. That's the packaging. Can we have 1,000 of them, please?" And then you go, "Oh, actually, I don't really want to make 1,000 boxes." But like, that's where it goes, you know.
Yeah.
But even if it's just display boxes for a tasting room or something like that, you know, that could be 5 sales. Just boom, done.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe that's a different, because the main reason why I haven't wanted to invest too much of my time into this, you know, build a product and then sit back, is this isn't where I want my business to go going forward. I want to build custom pieces like what you guys do. That's what I want to do. This is supposed to be on the side. So if the tea company does ask for 1,000 and I'm going to make good money, then Bryan, now I'm back at doing shit work for something I don't want. But
that's when you just need to outsource it somehow.
At the same time, I don't know if you remember, like way back when I was talking about why I made these off-cut boards. It was because I would give them to a client. So they would buy like a coffee table or something like that. And I would give them the off-cut board with my logo branded on the top, as opposed to the brand on the coffee table is discreetly kind of under it or inside it or something like that.
Yeah.
So then your brand is on, you know, their dining table while they're having dinner with friends. So if you have your Robin Lewis cookbook stand in a kitchen, it's a constant reminder to them that then they know who you are, especially if they've met you in a market. And you're like, well, I also make coffee tables or dining tables or something.
Yeah.
And making that link to a client and slowly building up your clientele. I don't know. I think it's an important thing. I think people need to know who made it. And once you have a veneer of a website over it, it's very difficult to get personality across that way.
Yeah.
I would nearly even look at... Oh, sorry, go on, Joe.
Well, I was just going to say that's kind of why I asked if these products are just as like a bit of a money maker, get rid of some stock, but not going to be related to you personally as a maker, just as a third company that would be, they just sell kitchen type things, and it's a separate company. It almost feels like it needs to be a separate company that just sells the odd. Because it's very specialized. You can do all sorts of things in the kitchen, but it's hard for somebody, in my experience, like, because people come into my workshop all the time and they go, they'll see like something I'm working on and they're like, oh, do you make that as well? Can you do that? And so people have no clue that just because you can make a utensil holder box or a tea box, they can't see that as the same skill set as to make a dining table. It doesn't compute with people. And so I think you need to be wary that you don't get locked into I'm the kitchen utensil guy. And so that's why I wondered if it was a separate brand.
Yeah.
Sitting with its own Instagram page, it's just got 20 images of styled product, and then an Instagram shop or a link to your website.
Because, well, I don't know about what the legality is in Australia, but here, like, I can have my parent company, and I have trading names, so I can trade as like 4 different other companies under the same company, parent company. So you could have another website that's different from RobinLewisMakes, that is kitchen utensils, whatever it is, Celery Top Shop. And that's just, and to me, that is slightly more passive, because if you have, I agree with Bryan, it's not completely passive, but it is in the sense that if you are able to have sales 5 or 6 a week tumbling over, and you do,
be pretty happy with that.
And that's kind of cool if that's just turning over, as long as you can make those things and have the jigs and stuff just to turn them out. But I think if it's just I want to make some money from this, I feel like selling to people who already have established clients that are selling similar things, that's the way to go. Is to go to whoever, even a house staging companies who stage houses for sales.
That's a really good one.
They just want pretty things to put on the bench. They'll probably buy like 4 or 5 of everything.
That's a really good one.
And then they have a theme running through a house,
Yeah.
And that, because at the end of the day, you don't give a shit who buys it, like you don't care who actually has got it or what they're doing with it. You just kind of want to make the sale right now.
Yeah, this is debt recovery. That's all that this is to get rid of debt. Yeah. Well, I tried to hook up my store through GoDaddy to eBay because apparently you could link it. But wow, does that just open up a can of worms that even me with an IT background just gave up on, because it is way too complicated. So I'm sticking with my website and Facebook Marketplace. That's it. But in the quest to get eBay set up, I searched for celery top pine, and what came up was veneers. So I'm selling this tea box, right, for $75. Some guy who's making thousands of sales is selling celery top veneers, less timber than my tea box, for $60.
Well, just the veneer.
Just the veneer. So I think I'm just going to go into the veneer business with
get
the
that
stuff.
Get that bandsaw going.
I wanted to ask you guys, if I was to sell veneers, if you were to buy veneers, because I don't buy them, you guys buy them, what do I need to do to make a good veneer? A sellable veneer?
You need pretty good industrial quality machinery. It's got to be, it's either peeled or it's cut. So the peeled ones are out, like that is the full industrial manufacturing. So you'd need a really good bandsaw with carbide tip, big throat, teeth on it, and then probably a jointer and a drum sander.
And a feeder.
Yeah, an auto feed. Yeah.
Wait, sorry. But I can cut 5 mil on my bandsaw easy because I've got a 90.
Yeah, but it's cutting it straight.
Oh yeah.
It's got to be straight, and then you need a good drum sander. It's doable because I do it all the time, or relatively often. But what you want to, because I think the optimal for a solid veneer like that is about 3 mil. 5 mil's getting too thick. 3 mil is like your traditional ye olde veneer thickness. That's what they would work with, and it's actually usable. You don't have to worry about chipping and stuff so much. There's a lot of work to do that, Robin, because if you think about, you probably would end up having to take 5 mil slices, and then somehow you've got to sand both sides of that
with my drum sander,
and some timbers will just eat the sandpaper in 4 seconds. It'll just burn and be gummed up, and then that's $80 of sandpaper gone.
And I guess your thicknesser won't get it down. Well, it's touch and go.
No, at that thickness, it starts to chip it as it hits the blades. So what I do sometimes, even though it seems counterproductive, I'll joint my board, take a slice off both sides, and then go and joint my board and take a slice off both sides, and then I only have to sand one face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is a lot less work in the sander. You're still there all day cutting strips of the bandsaw.
I'm telling you, man, get into the markets and sell some offcuts of pen blanks or something like that don't need to be sanded. They're literally just because they would like celery top would be perfect for like a little pen blank or a marking knife or something like that.
Well, I mean, I could sell pen blanks. But just going back to the veneer thing, I've got these blocks. These blocks are 120 by 120. I am cutting strips off them and then sanding them and using them in my products.
Yeah.
So isn't it just the same process but just on a much thinner scale?
Yeah, but it gets exponentially harder.
Yeah, as it gets thinner, it's much more difficult to predict what's going on because let's say you're cutting 20 mil off one of those blocks. If you get any blade drift, it doesn't matter. If you get a mil of blade drift, who cares? You get a mil of blade drift when you're trying to cut 3 mil, you've got to scrap that piece of veneer because you can't sand it to the same thickness as everything else. Or you've got to at least chop a section out of it. And the thickness tolerances become almost no tolerance when you're trying to produce multiple pieces at 3 or 4 mil thick. It is exponentially more difficult. And I suspect that, was it you talking about that timber was gumming up your sandpaper?
Yeah, so it's going to be a nightmare from that perspective. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. The next time we're going to talk, just the two of us, is in a month. I will try and produce 4 boards, 4 veneered pieces, and I'll let you know how that goes. Because I'm just looking at this guy on eBay. I'm looking up at the page now. So he's got 6 pieces of veneer. They're 350 mil long, 100 mil wide, 3.2 mil thick, and he's selling them for $45. The pack for $45.
The difference that you can offer, though, which is a selling point, is that you have a big chunk of wood and you can offer book-matched veneers. You can take consecutive slices. Would it be book-matched?
It'd be close to it.
Consecutive slices will be pretty close to book-matched. And so you could offer that that would be an extra selling point.
Yeah. Would you include, could you sell a veneer with any epoxy in it, or at that point is it junk?
Nah, I wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's got to be clean.
No cracks. It's got to look good.
Okay.
While we're on the sales and marketing chat, I finally got round to taking all my pricing off my website. I don't know whether we spoke about that.
Off your website?
Off my website. This is something
What's going on?
I have intended on doing this for about 2 years, but 2 children have made it impossible to find the time to do it. So I've created a price guide, which people have to subscribe to a mailing list to get access to.
Okay.
That's a good
idea. I saw that. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Right.
So like I said, the whole way through COVID, I was like, I should do this. Oh, I've got another dirty nappy to change. So I finally got the time to do it. So I put together the guide and uploaded it, and now it's behind, not a paywall, but a subscription wall. So people have to enter their email to get it. I just felt as though I was giving away too much for free and had no way to follow up any leads. Like, people would just get pricing and then disappear. Yeah. So the idea of actually keeping their addresses and not hounding them with direct marketing or anything like that, but just like a quarterly catch-up newsletter, and this is what I've got in stock. There's a discount for stock, and I thought that I would maybe get, I don't know, 10 a week or 15 a week. I think I've had nearly 300 people in 2 weeks. Now, I know a lot of them will be other makers just sort of sniffing out what my stuff sells for comparison, which is kind of okay with me. I still like the idea of transparency with that, because I want people to charge more. I want across the board people to charge more for their work. So I don't really want to just have it for trade or architects or anything like that. I want it to be open, but yeah, it's been really successful. So hopefully it allows me to pick up a few more sales that way.
How do you find the price guide is accurate over time? Like, obviously things change.
Because then it's not a matter of me having to go on. I had way too many products on my website as well, so I've stripped out some things that I just do not make anymore or don't want to make. So now, rather than having to go every time I did a price rise, due to inflation or material costs, it would require me going on to every single individual web page and then coming back to my menu page where I also had pricing in it. Whereas now there's none of that. So it's literally just open my InDesign document, update my prices, upload document, and that's it done. Like, it's the sort of thing I could do in 20 minutes as opposed to taking 2 or 3 evenings to do it.
And if you are going to do it like a quarterly kind of email, then that's when you just email the updated version, right?
Yeah, it'll just go to the same link. Yeah. So it's exactly the same link. So if somebody views it online now and then comes back a year later and they click on it, that's, they're getting the most up-to-date document.
Awesome.
So yeah, it was a lot of work putting the document together, but it's quite nice for me as well to sort of see the body of work and see the progress, but then also see the pieces that I don't want to make anymore, and now they are gonzo.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I like, because, it struck me when we were at Wood Dust, I think Jimmy and April were talking to the crowd about transparency in amongst the maker community about how much they charge advertisers for spots on videos and stuff.
Yep.
And how they kind of had this secret enclave of makers and they all told each other how much they were going to charge.
Yep.
And that really struck at me because Jimmy actually looked at us at one point and said, you guys should do this too. Like, why not? Why keep pricing a secret? And it's like, yeah, why should we keep pricing a secret? Just who gives a shit?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, we're all doing the same job, and we should all be making the best money we can. And if that means some people go up and some people go down, maybe to find a happy medium that we just naturally occurs, then so be it.
Yep. But definitely, I think if a lot more of the experienced or intermediate makers were honest with their pricing and put it out there for the world to see it, I think everybody would gravitate up rather than gravitate down.
Yes.
You reckon?
So then you end up with I get that feeling. I just feel as though everybody needs to charge more.
I love the idea of having a pricing kind of guide, but I just don't have anything that I ever make twice. It's such a rare occasion that I'm like, I did have it on my first website. I had some like pricing guides, I suppose, but like they were out of date so quickly, and I was like, same as you, I didn't want to change the pages, and so just left it. But yeah, it's even so. I just took on another spiral staircase.
Oh no!
And the lady was like, so, because she got me from the YouTube video, she found that and then was like,
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You got to sail through YouTube.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And so she's like, how much are these going to cost? I said, those ones cost about $35,000. That was 5-6 years ago. So depending on what you want, that's kind of a minimum fee. And so then she didn't hear back from her for months. She came back to me just the other day and said, okay, I've been talking to the architect because I gave her some other information, and they've made changes to the plans based off my like brief email to her. And then
she really wants these stairs.
Yeah, and then she's like, right, this is what the plans are going to be. Can you now price this up? I said, right, it's going to be $1,000 for a quote. She said, fine. So I'm in the process of quoting it, and they're going to start the renovation in January or something. So lots of time to plan it.
Very cool.
But that is one of those things where that price of say $35,000 is not what it's going to cost now. Just because it's post-COVID for a start. I can't even get the same materials. So, but at least it gave her an idea that it's not $10,000.
Are you excited for it, or are you shitting yourself?
Well, I already lost sleep last night. It's not a good start. It's a completely different style, which is going to be easier because it's going to be a paint finish, and but just each job's got its own little quirks that make it difficult. And so this one has the main set of stairs is over 3.5 meters tall, so it's quite a tall rise. So just thinking about how we're even going to work in a 3-story high stairwell. So that was interesting.
At least you have it on YouTube, and you got all that stuff to refer back to.
Yeah, you got an instruction manual. Yeah, training video.
Yes, it's going to be quite different to that. So we're kind of throwing away everything we did on that one. I say we because my dad was already helping me draw some of the plans for it, because he just likes to do things. So I gave him the plans, and he's going old school with a pen and paper, working out how things are going to work. So,
Wow.
Legend.
Yeah, cool.
yeah. So
All right, well,
I had a point. I had a point about that, but I can't remember what it was.
Points are overrated.
Yeah, it got trumped by the spiral staircase, unfortunately. Well, let's call it there because we are coming up on time. Just one more plug. CeleryTopShop.com.au for everyone out there.
Yep.
Hang on, Robin. Are you paying us for this?
Oh, that's what this whole episode's about. It's going to be titled CeleryTopShop.com.au.
You wait till you see my next Instagram post. It's going to be a featured ad
Yeah.
for the Celery Top Shop.
Yeah, cool. All right, guys. Have a good week, and we will talk again soon.
Yep.
Cheers.
See ya. Sweet.
Yeah,
Bye.